Hey y'all, I'm Elisa.
And I'm Samantha.
And welcome to Watch for Deer Podcast. So we're going to throw a disclaimer out. If you're on this deck and you don't know what you're getting into, you may want to head inside. So we are a true crime podcast and we talk about some heavy stuff. So there will be murder mentioned. There could be mention of sexual assault. So if you got young ears, you've been warned. So first of all, we want to say thank you to Creekside for hosting us. We really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who showed up to watch us. Be sure you grab food, grab drinks, and make sure that you tip Caitlin and Mackenzie because they are your wait staff tonight.
Car trouble's got you down? Sanders Tire and Auto Repair has got you covered. Engine repair, transmissions, alignments, diagnostics, suspension fixes, welding, wheel straightening. These folks do it all. And fast. No upsells, just honest work backed by a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty. Feels like having a pit crew in your own backyard. Thousands of happy customers can't be wrong.
Swing by Sanders Tire and Auto Repair in Lavallette, West Virginia, where your ride gets the royal treatment and you get peace of mind. Now offering road hazard on your new tire purchase to help protect your investment. Check them out now or give them a call at 304-528-9800 to schedule your appointment.
Elisa, what was that number again? I was driving my car the other day and it was acting a little wonky. I don't know how to describe it.
It's 304-528-9800. Give them a call.
Awesome. I'll call Mick and Aletha. Thanks.
And be sure to follow us on Spotify. So, are you ready?
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. So, again, we are going to do a disclaimer. It might not be suitable for everyone, so this is your warning. I'm going to try to tone it down the best I can, but sometimes the light and fluffy isn't so light and fluffy. So, during this case, we're going to meet 4 different men. These 4 different men all have something to say about this case. So, let's begin. What would you do if you woke up to a shrill scream in the early morning hours? I mean, full-on squalling like your life depended on it. This wasn't the first time that this happened either. On a hot and humid summer night, a neighbor was awoken to this very type of screaming. The screams sounded like they were coming from a young man who was maybe around the age of 15. Initially, she thought drugs. But could drugs really make people scream like that? No, this was more panicky. She called the police and reported the incident.
Who is she? Who are you talking about?
If you were listening to me, the neighbor.
Just a neighbor?
A neighbor.
Okay. Just a neighbor.
Follow along.
Okay.
I don't think she needs more vodka.
I haven't even had enough yet.
Maybe that's the problem. So she called the police. She reported the incident. The best she could tell, she thought it was coming from the house behind her, located at 8213 Summerdale. Officers responded to the call, and upon knocking on the door, they were introduced to a local contractor by the name of John Wayne Gacy.
Oh, Jesus.
So before Ted Bundy and before Dennis Rader, or BTK, there was John Wayne Gacy. Now, how many of you have heard of the case of John Wayne Gacy? Have you really heard the case of John Wayne Gacy? Okay. So it's super wild, so grab your drinks because you're going to need them. So John Wayne Gacy was born at Edgewater Hospital in Chicago, Illinois on March 17th of 1942. The second of 3 children and the only son of John Stanley Gacy and Marion Elaine Robinson. His father was an auto repair machinist and a World War I veteran. His mother was a homemaker. Now, Gacy was close to his mother and his sisters, but it was a different story with his father. His father was an alcoholic who verbally and physically abused not only Gacy, but the entire family. We see this background a lot when we discuss these awful cases. No, not always having a horrid childhood causes you to become a serial killer, but it helps. Gacy's dad frequently called him dumb and stupid and belittled him and compared him to his sisters.
Yeah, but didn't we just say, though, that like 100% of serial killers had some kind of abuse?
Sexual or emotional. Yeah,
was that
physical.
or was that just female serial killers?
That was female on, the psychology of female serial killers.
Okay.
Yep. So, at the age of 4, his father gave him a beating for mixing up some car parts that his dad was working on. When his mother ran out to shield young Gacy, his father yelled and screamed at his mother, telling her that he was such a sissy and a mama's boy, and because of her, he was going to grow up to be gay. At the age of 4, a girl maybe around the age of 15, who was also a neighbor and showed signs of intellectual disability, had pulled Gacy's pants down and messed with him. At 4 years old, let's take a minute to think about that.
I don't want to.
He told his mother...
I don't want to take any time at all to
Take
think
a drink.
about that.
Take a drink, Sammy.
I can't believe this is the story you picked.
No, let me tell you. She picked this story because she was like, we need to do someone like Ted Bundy or Jeffrey Dahmer or who was that clown guy? And I thought, I got you, boo.
I know, but I didn't think it was going to be like this.
I got you, boo.
Okay.
You picked this one.
I didn't mean to.
So
I didn't mean to do this.
So drink up.
We're going to drink. We're going to be finishing this in the parking lot of the Marathon gas station when we get escorted out of this place.
So, when Gacy was just 7, him and a neighbor boy and the little boy's sister, they were all caught naked, and the 2 boys were messing with the little boy's sister.
Oh, God.
Once again, he was beaten. Now, I'm not saying he shouldn't have been punished, but I'm saying he was messed with in the same way, and it was okay. So, in his mind, he probably thought it was okay. Shortly after this, one of his father's contractor friends would pick Gacy up. He was 7 years old at the time, and take him for rides in his truck. The friend was always tickling and wrestling around.
Don't touch me. Please just skip over this part. We get it. He had a shitty lifestyle. Just keep on going.
Somehow, Gacy always ended up between his legs. I'm going to let Sam compose herself. Now, Gacy never told his parents about the sexual abuse because he was afraid that his dad would blame him and beat him. Now, the same year, Gacy had stolen all of his mother's underwear, and he hid it in his sandbox in a paper bag under the porch. He claimed he just liked the feel of it. Once his mother found the bag, she made him wear them since he liked them so much. What's wrong, Sammy?
I'm just uncomfortable. I'm so uncomfortable right now.
You picked it.
I did not pick this.
You picked it. Now, Gacy was overweight and he was unathletic. Because of a heart condition, he was told to avoid sports.
Now, we did talk about that. I know we talked about that because you said most serial killers when they were kids were fat. You said that. You said that. When we recorded a couple times ago, you said that.
Yes.
And then...
In their adolescence, yes.
And
they
it really
are obese.
shocked me because then when you see them when they're older, like Ted Bundy and stuff, they're not.
They're not, correct.
Yeah, but you did say that. I remember you saying that.
Good job. You do listen
Because
sometimes.
that shocked me. You said that.
I did, yes.
Okay. I'm glad you
At
remember
least you're
that.
listening.
Just staring at the wall.
Because of a heart condition, he was told to avoid sports. Now, this brought on even more belittling from his father, who called him weak. In the 4th grade, Gacy began to experience blackouts. He was hospitalized on occasion, but because of these episodes, and in 1957, he had his appendix burst. Gacy later estimated that between the ages of 14 and 18, he had spent almost an entire year in a hospital. He attributed the decline of his grades to missing school. Now, Gacy's medical condition was never conclusively diagnosed. His father openly accused his son of faking it as he lay in a hospital bed.
And he had a murmur?
Probably.
Gacy
had a treehouse when he was young. One day, the tree had to be removed, and sweet little Gacy sat in the top and he cried.
That's how you describe him, a sweet little Gacy?
He was a child who was abused and beaten.
Okay.
You can feel bad for the kid.
I do feel bad for the kid.
Okay, thank you.
Wait until you get on with this story, though.
He would eventually build fort after fort, and his dad kept tearing them down.
He'd also put clown makeup on and murder people, but we're not there yet.
Is this why you don't like clowns?
I don't like anything. There's nothing there that I like.
Now, his father, being the amazing dad that he was, he consistently tore down all of his forts. Said they were an eyesore, and he, again, would beat Gacy. Now, he did end up building one under the porch of their home, and his father let that one stay since nobody could really see it. Did this obsession with finding his own place for peace and solitude come back to haunt him in his adult life? Put a pin in this. Gacy was a lonely, sickly, and weak child. No interest in sports. He was uncoordinated and somewhat would call him chubby. Gacy can remember his father made the basement off limits in their house. When they had moved into this home, it was like the basement was his father's lair. There were locks on the door, and no one dared to go in the basement. If his father was in the basement and it was dinner time, they all had to sit at the table and wait for his dad to come up and sit down. One night, Gacy Sr. flipped out and shoved his chair back and punched his wife square in the face. He then went into the bedroom, produced a rifle, and walked out the front door. A few days later, he came home. He sat down to a nice hot meal, and the incident was never talked about again.
Until this moment.
Until this very moment.
Until you brought it up.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Cheers.
Now, turns out his old man had a blood clot in his brain, and that was his mother's excuse for always pacifying him. So let's talk about John Wayne Gacy and his personalities.
Please.
Let's be real for just a moment. Before we dive into this section of our story, Gacy didn't have 4 personalities. He had 4 excuses for his actions. These were the names that John self-reported to the doctors and the psychiatrists after he was apprehended. Gacy was a true psychopath. He was very calculated and strategic, and he was able to pull off the double life rather easy. John Wayne Gacy. This was his true self. This was who everyone seen him as, through his day-to-day life. He had a normal public identity. He was successful, and he was a great neighbor. He became heavily involved in politics. Then you have Pogo the Clown. This was the entertainer in Gacy. He used this persona while performing at various charity events and parties. This version of him represented attention, the admiration that he never could seem to receive from his father, and he was able to exhibit a form of control through this persona. Most movies and documentaries focus heavily on the killer clown aspect. However, he never killed a victim while dressed as a clown. One survivor reported that there was some clown memorabilia in the garage where he would assault them, but that was it. So, I don't know if you know this, but there are schools for clowns. And in these clown schools, they teach you that when you do your makeup, you have to round the points. You can't have pointed makeup. So, he always did his makeup sharp and pointy to make him look scary to these kids. And just think, Gacy was at charity events and hospitals, just living his best life with kids.
They teach you at clown school that you can't...
Your makeup has to be rounded.
And that's a thing.
That's
people
an actual
actually
thing.
go to clown school.
Yes. Yep.
I've never heard anything like that in my entire life. Have you? Clown school?
She's like, no.
That's a thing.
They teach you how to put your makeup on and how to make balloon animals. But yes,
that's
clown
the
college.
Stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's dumb.
I think you should do it this summer.
That's dumb. I'm not doing that this summer.
Really?
That's dumb.
Jack Hanley. This was the criminal version of himself. Gacy claimed this is who committed the murders and done the thieving. He used Jack Hanley as an attempt to deflect responsibility for his own actions. Then there's Bad Jack. Bad Jack was violent and extremely sadistic. He associated this persona with all-consuming rage, domination, and sheer brutality. This version was... Hello? Okay. This version was tied to the control his father had over him and the resentment that he felt as a child. Now, Gacy was never diagnosed with a dissociative identity disorder. The court would actually find that Gacy was fully aware of his actions and was fully in his right mind while committing all the murders.
What year is this? What year did he do this?
Well, he did it in the 70s.
Okay.
Psychologists often connected these personas to his father's cruelty, deeper feelings of being inadequate, and a desire to reverse the victimhood into control. So now we're going to talk about his double life, because everybody loved Gacy. His neighbors, I mean, he was a very respectable man in his community. He was a politician. As
Like
we know
what
by
kind
now,
of politician? What kind was he?
Democrat. No, it really was. He was a member of the Democratic Party.
I meant, what did he do? Was he like mayor, Congress?
I'm going to get there.
Huh? What'd you?
Commissioner, House Delegate,
Sheriff, something.
Board of Education.
Stop it! I'm going to get fired. But he really was
Yes.
That's true. He was a politician.
Yep, I'm gonna get to
okay,
it.
go ahead. Go ahead.
As we know by now, Gacy had a very public life and a very active one. So let's dive into this side of Gacy and how he was able to get away for so long committing these horrific murders. So first, he was a successful contractor and business owner. He had tons of business ventures. He ran his own construction company called PDM, and he often employed young men, which gave him direct access and influence over his victims. It is believed his idea originated from his past encounters with his father's friend, who would pick him up and assault him in the truck. It worked for him. Why couldn't it work for Gacy? At times, some of these boys even stayed with Gacy. Some reported odd behavior, while others mentioned that they never experienced anything off. And oftentimes, Gacy would, with these boys, but they had nowhere to go, so they chalked it up to drinking. Whether that was true or the stigma behind them being labeled gay, we may never know. Now, Gacy was such a good businessman. In the 60s, his father-in-law helped him get into the retail business. Gacy then became the manager of none other than KFC. Gacy was driven, organized, and his restaurants done extremely well. However, the sexual drive for young teens proved to be too hard to ignore, and he began assaulting his employees. He would use his position of authority to manipulate them, often making them call him the Colonel.
Oh my God.
This is where the Colonel of KFC got its name.
Oh, it is not. You friggin' liar. That's not true. She's friggin' lying. That is not true. That's not true. That's not where it got it. No. No.
Oh. This eventually led to his 1970 conviction.
You're going to get us sued is what you're going to do.
Sorry, KFC. I don't like KFC anyways.
We just had it for dinner the other night.
You may have, I don't.
Love KFC.
It's nasty. So greasy.
Love it.
Ugh.
So good.
This eventually led to his 1970 conviction that ended his career with KFC and his first marriage to Marilyn. Now, his reputation, he was known for his business acumen and reliability, which made people really comfortable around him. Gacy eventually opened PDM Construction, but he later branched off of that into various other businesses under that PDM umbrella. He was very successful. Political and civil engagements, he was active in politics. He was a member of the local Democratic Party and even hosted events for politicians. He had a lot of community involvement. He volunteered for charitable organizations such as the local Moose Club, and he was well regarded in these circles. He was also an active member in the JCs, officially the United States Junior Chamber, or JCUSA. Now, this is a leadership development and civic organization for active young citizens anywhere from the age of 18 to 40. This club was founded in 1920, and it focused on providing hands-on opportunities and building professional skills such as project management and entrepreneurship. So while executing community service projects and creates positive change. Now, he rose really high within the ranks of the Jaycees, and he ended up heading up his own chapter in Illinois. To recruit to his chapter, he would hold themed parties, think Western or luau. He would show adult videos, and there was a lot of adult activity involved. Once these men participated, Gacy had them by the balls. He would threaten to tell their wives what went on if they did not join his chapter. At one time, he had like 400 members in his chapter. Just grab them.
Don't. Do not.
Just like, don't.
Don't do that.
Social and charitable events, hosting parties. He frequently threw barbecues and parties at his home, inviting neighbors, friends, and local officials, which enhanced his reputation as a friendly and hospitable figure. Now, we know he performed as Pogo the Clown at children's parties and charity events. This also helped reinforce his image as approachable and fun. This was pretty much the extent to his clown persona. Nothing that's usually portrayed in movies or documentaries. Gacy stated that he performed at children's hospitals at least twice a month. So he was very charming, very persuasive. Gacy was known for his charisma, which helped him gain the trust of his community and those around him. And this really shocks me that he was so charismatic, as he was so antisocial and very lonely growing up during much of his adolescence. There were many times these young men would leave his home after being assaulted, go straight to the police, and get out of it because everyone just knew Gacy was this great guy. He was repeatedly arrested for sodomy and released. He had a very long record.
Are you ready to feel lighter, more energized, and more in control of your health? At Enlightened Weight Loss and Wellness, they specialize in personalized, science-backed support for men and women's hormones, weight loss, and overall wellness. From GLP-1 weight loss injections to metabolism-boosting vitamin therapies and functional hormone balancing, they create a plan that finally works for you. If you're ready to feel like yourself again, or better, now's the time. Learn more at enlightenedweightandwellness.com or check them out on Facebook at Enlightened Weight Loss and Wellness. Mention code SPOOKY10 for 10% off your first visit.
I don't even know what to say. I've got nothing. I don't have anything right now.
Nothing?
No, nope. Nothing.
Now, he was often seen as generous and helpful. He was always willing to lend a hand or provide a job or even shelter some of the young boys down on their luck. This generosity is exactly how he was able to have access to so many young men. He built strong relationships with local leaders and neighbors, making it less likely anyone would suspect him. He was careful about his public image, ensuring any rumors or concerns were quickly dismissed or explained away. So when he was in the Jaycees, he actually assaulted 2 of the Jaycee members' sons. And they went to the police. And he was he was somewhat charged, but he didn't serve time for it because he basically said that their dad was wanting his position as president. So he got off pretty much scot-free.
I literally have no words.
Do you
right
like
now.
your story?
No, this is atrocious. This is a terrible story.
Now, Gacy was a family man. He managed to marry twice. He and his first wife, Marilyn, had 2 kids together.
I don't feel like he's a family man, at all.
He was a family man.
That's not what that's called.
He had a son and a daughter. However, that first marriage ended in 1970 after he was convicted of a sexual offense involving a teenage boy.
So he's got children now still. They're out there with
Yes.
the last name. Surely they changed their name.
I would have. Oh, sure.
You think?
Sure.
Oh, my God.
Now, Marilyn ended up divorcing him, and she gained custody of both of the kids. In 1972, he married Carol Hoff. She had 2 daughters from a previous marriage. She would eventually divorce him after growing very suspicious of Gacy because putrid smell within their home and the amount of young teenage boys coming in and out of the home late at night, she thought it was best to leave.
She'd be right.
She'd be right. Now, the strength of Gacy's public life was that it masked his true nature and made it extremely difficult for anyone to see the warning signs. John Wayne Gacy had a total of 33 confirmed victims, and they believe that number could be much higher. While each one of these victims deserves in-depth coverage, due to time constraints and puss over here, I'm going to discuss a few of the cases.
Why'd you call me puss? That wasn't nice. That wasn't nice.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that wasn't expecting that.
He was a precinct captain, so he was all with, like, voting.
Oh, yeah, he was buddies with all the right people, so he could get out of it.
I mean, I can see how that a politician could be that vile. I could totally see that.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't think they were.
Oh, my God. Yes.
I thought you believed everything.
He was what? Was he choir leader in church?
Yeah. Yeah, he was in church, and oh yeah, he was a youth pastor, and oh yeah, good stuff.
Isn't that awful?
Oh yeah. So
He's dead though, right? You're going to tell me that
just
they killed him.
hold on, just hold on. I mean, he
Super hope he's in hell.
Parole was 10 years ago, so.
Oh, keep going. Keep going.
Gacy would usually there we go, vodka.
You say
Yerp.
What are you trying to say?
Gacy would usually lure these young men to his home and get them extremely intoxicated.
What the hell did you say Europe for?
I was trying to say lure.
Look, okay. Get away from me.
It's the same thing. Oh, once they were intoxicated, he would use a garrote and strangle them to death.
Just skip it.
You can't skip the story.
You can skip those words. Just saying, you can skip some of those words. It's not going to hurt anything. You could just say strangle. You don't have to actually say what it was. I still don't know why she needs to go into full detail. She could have been like, he strangled him.
Oh,
there
I could go deeper, but I didn't. I made this public friendly, ma'am.
Okay.
He would then take their clothes off and donate them
bless
to
America.
He would donate them to the Salvation Army.
Well,
so just think for a second.
Charity, right? Charity.
There were people walking around in the clothing that someone had worn while they were killed by Gacy.
Listen, if you go to the Goodwill, you don't know what you're buying there.
No, you don't.
But you're getting it cheap.
Deadly cheap.
That's where Alan got his Easter
Too much?
shirt. Yeah. Is my face red? I'm dying. It's because I doubled up on my blood pressure pill, because I'm telling you, I'm dying right now. I'm just waiting for her to slip and actually say something bad, and they're like, okay, it's time for you girls to get the hell on out of here. Yeah. Go over the hill. Wrong Creekside. You're going to that bar down there.
See us at Creekside Bar.
Yeah.
Okay, so Timothy Jack McCoy was Gacy's first victim. He was 16. He disappeared January 3rd of 1972. McCoy was around 16, 17-year-old. He traveled from Omaha to Chicago. He encountered Gacy at a bus station, and Gacy offered him a place to stay for the night. At some point during the night or early morning, an altercation occurred inside Gacy's home. Gacy later claimed he believed McCoy was going to harm him, though this is widely viewed as self-serving and unreliable. Because during the confrontation, Gacy fatally stabbed McCoy. Gacy admits in an interview later that he had woken up to the boy standing in the doorway with a knife. He said he felt threatened and attacked the kid. After he'd murdered him, he said he noticed that the kid had made breakfast and had placed 2 place settings at his table. So that he helped this kid, gave him a place to stay,
Yeah.
walked in to the living room or wherever he was sleeping with a knife to tell him breakfast was done because he cooked breakfast for the guy who picked him up, and he killed him.
Say it again. I'm still not comprehending what you're saying. Tell me again.
Gacy picked this guy up from the bus station. He was waiting on a bus.
It was a child. Go ahead.
Yep. Brings him home.
Yep.
Yep. They go to sleep.
Yep.
He wakes up the next morning, and this kid is standing with, Gacy says this kid is standing with a knife.
Okay.
He attacks him. After he kills him, he says he turns around, and the kid had fixed breakfast. And he had laid out place settings for him and Gacy.
Oh, he was probably holding the knife because
he was holding the knife because he had been cutting.
That dirty bastard.
Your face is priceless.
I'm just shook.
After the murder, Gacy stored the body in the closet. Due to decomposition and the leaking of things, he moved the body into the crawl space. This location under his home became a pattern, as many of his later victims were also buried there.
Nope. Nope. We ain't doing that.
No, ma'am.
We ain't doing that.
He would also later stuff their underwear down their throats because he didn't like the after effects of decomp in the body leaking. Now, I'm just wondering if this particular routine could be traced back to his fascination with his mom's underwear. Some psychology there, maybe. So this killing marked the beginning of what would become a series of murders over several years, with Gacy targeting young men and boys, often luring them with work offers and other false pretenses. So we're going to talk about Robert Piest. He was 15. He disappeared December 11th of 1978. He was last seen walking out of Nissan Pharmacy to talk to Gacy about a potential contracting job. Piest had worked at the pharmacy, and after being unable to get a raise, he became restless and wanted a better job. Piest was strangled, and his body was disposed of in the Des Plaines River.
See how easy that was? You didn't say how he was strangled. You just said he was strangled, and we all understood that was it.
Well, a lot of times Gacy would talk to these boys, and he would have these handcuffs and this rope, and he called it the handcuff trick.
No, he
the
did
rope.
not.
Yes, he did. Because
Okay,
he was
stop.
a clown. So the way he would do it is he would be like,
no, whisper.
he would be like, here's the handcuffs. See if you can get out of them. I do this, I'm a clown. And they would put the handcuffs on.
Really?
Yes. And then they were garroted.
Do you know I didn't know what that meant until she told me? Like probably around episode 3 or 4, but I had no idea what that meant. I had
3 or
no
4.
I had no idea what that was. She still doesn't know how to say married.
Shut up, Jan. Nobody asked you.
She still doesn't know how to say it.
So Gacy, he was strangled. His body was disposed of in the Des Plaines River because Gacy had begun to stack bodies on top of each other in the crawl space. So he ran out of room and he needed a new way to dispose of the body.
Was he living there?
Yes, he was living in the home.
You think? I mean, that would smell.
So
right?
his second wife, Carol, complained of bugs and this putrid smell, and all he did was go down, and he says, I listened to an interview, his interview with, I think his name's Robert Ressler, in 1992, and he said that he probably used about 800 pounds of lime underneath his crawl space to try and kill the smell.
He was doing that because that's what they do on the deer on the side of the road.
That's right.
Yeah, they throw lime on them.
Lime them.
They lime them.
They lime them. Yep.
Yeah. Does it get rid of the smell? Does lime get rid of the smell?
Probably not 33 bodies worth.
I mean, how much lime you got?
He said 800 pounds.
There you go.
Okay. So, the next victim we're going to talk about is John Cizik. He was 19. He disappeared January 20th of 1977. Cizik was last seen after leaving a bar. It was said that Gacy lured him under the pretense of a job One of my resources I read stated Gacy had met Cizik, whom Gacy described as a he-she at Bughouse Square. Gacy claimed that after a encounter, Cizik tried to charge him more than $20 that was agreed upon, and that's when Gacy said he showed him the old rope trick. His cause of death was strangulation. His body was also buried in Gacy's crawlspace. Thank you.
How big was his crawlspace?
Apparently pretty big. I mean, 29 bodies were recovered from the crawlspace. The rest of them were dumped in the Des Plaines River. The next one is James Maraza, age 20. He disappeared July 5th of 1976. Maraza disappeared after leaving a bar. He was one of the many young men Gacy targeted under the guise of employment or companionship. He too was strangled, and his body was found buried in the crawlspace along with many other victims. Mm-hmm. Robert Gilroy, 18, disappeared October 17th of 1977. His family state the last time they had seen Gilroy was when he left his home, which was located just 4 blocks from Gacy's home. Gilroy was never seen again by his family. Reports after that state that Gilroy was last seen leaving a party. His cause of death was strangulation, and his body was also buried in the crawl space.
That's how you say that.
So I'm sure you're excited to talk about the downfall of John Wayne Gacy.
I can't wait.
I'm going to tell you a few more things about the murdering process.
The what?
How he murdered people.
Okay. I still don't know what you said, though. What'd you say?
Murdering? About how he murdered people.
Okay. It sounds like it was all strangulation and a rope trick.
It was.
Okay. I want to see this downfall. Let's get into that.
One of the major turning points of the case was the disappearance of 15-year-old Robert Pice, December of 1978. Robert was last seen leaving work, and a witness had given a description of a suspicious man who was trying to lure him into a van. This led authorities to investigate Gacy, who had previous encounters with law enforcement, including being arrested for sodomy in 1968 and a few other times. For this offense, he was convicted and served 18 months in prison. Gacy was looking more and more like the guilty party. After investigating and tailing Gacy, officers obtained a search warrant and searched the home of John Wayne Gacy. Upon entering the home, officers met with a pungent odor. So, when I was listening to the interview, they were talking about he was tailed for several weeks. And one morning, he literally would walk out and he asked them to come in for breakfast.
Ask who?
The 2 cops that was, like, surveilling him.
Gacy asked 2 cops
him to come in for breakfast. Yes.
Okay.
They thought, what the heck? Let's go in and see what's up. So they go in, and the one officer had to use the bathroom. He said he was in there, he was washing his hands when the heat kicked on. Keep in mind, it's December. The heat kicked on, and he said, I know the smell of death. And when that heat kicked on, he knew that they had to get a search warrant.
Why would he do that?
Because he was so brazen. He was so brazen. He would even go as far as knowing that they were tailing him. He would get up and just drive in loops and drive in circles. Just drive. They said at one point he walked up to the cop car and he says, man, he's like, it's hard to pin a murder on a clown, ain't it? Like
I would feel like that'd be the easiest thing in the world to do.
Like you have to have evidence.
I think all clowns have murdered. They've all murdered, right? Like you see a clown, you're like, murder.
Murder.
Yeah, that's a murder. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I wouldn't think that would be very hard to pin on a clown.
But you can't just say, I mean, you gotta have evidence. But they did get a search warrant. They searched the home of John Wayne Gacy. Upon entering the home, again, they were met with this awful odor, and he said that he had an ongoing sewage leak, and he had to continually spread lime in his crawl space.
Listen, I think that a dead body would smell different than poop. It would. That's a different smell. Decomposing or whatever, you know, like you
smell
something
a little bit
on
of
the
a
side
sweet
of the road.
smell.
It does not. No, it doesn't.
When they searched his home, they found evidence that linked him directly to Robert Pice, such as a receipt from the pharmacy that he worked at, and uncovered the remains of many other victims. Like most killers, Gacy also liked to take trophies. This helped tie him to many of his victims. Like when they were recovering the remains, they found, I think it was Mraz's high school ring. And his family was sitting and they were waiting because they kept constantly bringing the bodies out. And they said that when they noticed his ring, like they knew, like they were just waiting for them to bring his son out, or their son out. Jeez. Yeah, it was really sad. Like most killers, he took trophies. This was the pivotal moment when all of the investigating of the disappearances of the teens and young men paid off. This turned into one of the largest serial murder investigations at that time in U.S. history. John Wayne Gacy was apprehended in 1978. He was eventually convicted of killing at least 33 young men and boys, 29 of those all found on his property, mainly in the crawl space. He was sentenced to death in 1980. During his very first interview with Robert Ressler in 1992, as he's discussing this case with Gacy, Gacy consistently claimed his innocence for all the murders except for Tim McCoy, which was the kid that had made him breakfast and he stabbed to death. He admitted to that one.
He never did admit to any of the other ones?
Nope. He states that there were 4 other parties responsible for the murders, and they were all employees of PDM Construction. He was executed by lethal injection May 10th of 1994. His last words were, "Kiss my ass." No apology, no acknowledgement of the victims. With that, I'll leave you with a Gacy quote. "The dead won't bother you. It's the living you have to worry about." And that, my friends, wraps up our live show. Thank you all so much for supporting us on this journey, taking time out of your night to come and see us. Make sure that you tip your wait staff. Mackenzie and Caitlin have been running their tails off. If you love the show, be sure to follow us on Spotify. And, yeah, I think it's it, right? You got anything?
I have.
You're still speechless.
I'm tickled to death the man's dead. I mean, that's a plus.
Yeah? Do you like your story you picked?
No, I didn't pick that. At least I would never pick that.
You did.
No, I wouldn't.
You
I'd
gave
pick
me
a cult.
3.
I'd pick a
No,
good...
you gave me Dahmer, Bundy, Gacy.
I know, because
And you
they're
said,
popular.
what about that clown? What about that clown?
You did. Listen, I'm sure that was way worse than what...
Oh,
If we would have actually just recorded this, I can imagine what you would have said. So I appreciate you being very
This was made for
gentle.
public.
Yeah.
I'll tell you all about it on the drive
I
home.
appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Y'all be safe and watch for deer.